I'm gonna get you brothers the old school stand with that, so you don't gotta worry about the batteries and all that stuff. Make it easy. Inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending the salutations upon the Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam, and upon his family and his companions, and upon all those who follow upon his guidance into the establishment of the last day. To proceed, ya ikhwan, Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min ilmin la yanfa' wa min qalbin la yakhsha' wa min nafsin la tashba' wa min du'a'in la yusma'. Verily, Allah, we seek refuge with you from knowledge that has no benefit, and from a heart that has no fear, and from a soul that has no satisfaction, no contentment, and from a du'a that goes unanswered. To proceed, ya ikhwan, فنواصل معكم في هذه الليلة المباركة الكريمة عونا من الرحمن الرحيم. So we continue in this blessed and noble night of ours, seeking the aid and the assistance of our Lord, the most merciful and the most compassionate. مستفيدين متعلمين من كلام الإمام العلامة الشيخ عبدالعزيز بن Abdillah ibn Baaz رحمه الله تعالى. So tonight we continue benefiting from, learning from, deriving benefit from the noble Imam al-Shaykh Abdulaziz ibn Baaz. May Allah have mercy upon him. طيب من كتابه مجموع الفتاوى, and we're reading from his book, the Islamic verdicts, or the questions and answers regarding the Islamic verdicts. مجموع الفتاوى, the compilation of Islamic verdicts. قال باب بيان فضل العشر الأواخر وليلة القدر. Chapter, the clarification and the superiority of the last 10 nights, meaning of Ramadan, and Laylat al-Qadr, and the night of power. قال سئل السائل, one of the questioners, he's asked, إذا أردت أن أحيا ليالي العشر الأواخر من رمضان متى أبدأ جزاك الله خيرا. So the questioner says, oh Shaykh, if I want to stay up the whole night, the last 10 nights of Ramadan, متى أبدأ, when do I begin? And may Allah Ta'ala reward you with good. طيب. بعض الناس يقولون جزاك الله, وهذا جائز, لكن هذا عام. الأولى أن نجعل هذا التعبير على التخصيص, أن نخصصه. Sometimes you hear people say جزاك الله, may Allah reward you, may Allah recompense you, may Allah reward you, may Allah recompense you. That's allowed to say. شخص قدم لك خيرا فنقول جزاك الله. Somebody does some goodness for you, and you say جزاك الله, may Allah reward you, may Allah recompense you. طيب, that's general. May Allah reward you with what? فالجزاء قد يكون خيرا أو شر. So the reward can be a reward of goodness or a reward of evil. It can be a recompense also. فإذا نقول جزاك الله, قد أسأل الله تعالى أن يعطيك خيرا أو أن يعطيك غير ذلك إذا لا تستحق الخير. So if you say to someone, may Allah reward you, may Allah recompense you, that's general. It implies if you deserve good, may Allah reward you with good, or may Allah give you what you deserve, or may Allah recompense you. If he feels you deserves good, may Allah give you good. However, this is general. الأولى أن نخصصها. It's better that you specify it. جزاك الله خيرا. جزاك الله علما. جزاك الله فهما لهذا الدين. مثلا, it's better to say it specifically. May Allah reward you with good. May Allah reward you with knowledge. May Allah reward you with an understanding of this religion. It's better to make it specific. Wallahu a'lam. قال الشيخ رحمه الله تبدأ من بعد صلاة العشاء. So he says, you begin from the night of Al-Isha, from the night of the Isha prayer, after Isha prayer. كان النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام يحيي ليالي العشر الأواخر من رمضان. He says the Messenger of Allah used to stay up at night, the entire night, the last 10 nights of Ramadan. قالت عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا دخلت العشر أحيا ليله وأيقظ أهله وشد مئزره. الحديث. Aisha, first hadith of tonight. I want you to write this hadith, ya ikhwan. First hadith of tonight. Aisha, she says that the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, when the last 10 nights of Ramadan entered, إذا دخلت العشر, when the last 10 nights of Ramadan entered, the Messenger of Allah أحيا ليله, he would stay up the entire night. وأيقظ أهله, and he would wake up his family. And he would wake up his family. وشد مئزره, and he also would tighten up his belt. He would tighten up his izar, his lower garment. He would tighten up his lower garment. فهذا بيان من عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها من بعض فعل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا دخلت العشر. So here's a clarification from our mother Aisha رضي الله تعالى عنها regarding some of the actions of the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, regarding some things that the Messenger of Allah used to do. Some things that the Messenger of Allah used to do. طيب, فذكرت ثلاثة. So our mother Aisha here, she mentions three things. طيب, قالت رضي الله تعالى عنها, from them she mentions أحيا ليلة. Number one, what did the Prophet do when the last 10 nights of Ramadan entered? What's some of the things that the Messenger ﷺ used to do when the last 10 nights of Ramadan entered? We'll mention three of them inshallah, as Aisha mentioned three. طيب, الأولى, number one, أحيا ليله. He used to stay up the whole night. وأيقظ أهله. Number two, he used to also wake up his family. Number three, الثالثة شد مئزره. He used to also, alayhi salam, tighten up his izar. شد مئزره. مئزرة. ميم همزة. مئزره. He would tighten up his lower garment, his izar. مئزره. طيب, نبدأ بآخر الحديث. والحديث عند البخاري. And the hadith is collected by Imam Al-Bukhari. طيب, نبدأ بآخر الحديث أولا. Let's start from the ending of the hadith. قولت عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها شد مئزره. Where Aisha, she mentions that the Prophet of Allah شد مئزره. He would tighten up his izar. شد مئزره. هذا القول له عدة معاني أو معنيان. This statement here has two meanings. شد إزاره, he would tighten up. You brothers that wear the izar, فكانت عائشة تقول كان شده النبي, he would tighten it up, for example. فهذا تعبير, this expression له معنيان, له معنيان, has two meanings, has two meanings. المعنى الأول, the first meaning كان يجتهد في هذه الأواخر أو في هذه العشر أشد مما اجتهد بغيرها, أشد مما اجتهد أو أشد من اجتهد في غيرها. First possibility. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. I'm okay, alhamdulillah, just my back is a little tight. Alhamdulillah. May Allah make it easy. No, may Allah bless you. First possibility, first meaning, that he was more diligent in these nights than he was in the other nights. اجتهد أكثر مما اجتهد بغيرها. That he was more diligent in these nights than he was in the earlier nights. شد مئزرا. It's an expression, تعبير بيانا أو بيان بأنه كان يجتهد أكثر في هذه الأواشر في هذه العشر الأواخر مما غيرها مما غيرها. That he was more diligent in the last 10 nights of Ramadan in his ibadah, in his worship, than he was in the earlier nights. هذا معنى الأول, that's the first meaning. كان يجتهد أكثر. He was more diligent. He was more diligent. والمعنى الثاني, as for the second meaning, كان يعتزل نساءه عليه الصلاة والسلام. The second possibility, second meaning, that when the nights of Ramadan, the last 2 nights of Ramadan entered, the Messenger of Allah would not have relations with his wives. كان يعتزل نساءه. He used to stay away from having relations with his wives. الفائدة الأولى, benefit number 1. الفائدة الأولى, benefit number 1. إذا العبد يقرب إلى نسائه هذا مستحب في الإسلام. The man comes close to his women. He approaches his women. This is recommended to do in the religion of Al-Islam. This is recommended to do in the religion of Al-Islam. لكن حتى لا يضاعف قوة حتى لا تتضاعف قوة النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام في العبادة كان يعتزل نساءه ليركز على عبادته لله سبحانه وتعالى. However, although it's highly recommended to enjoy your wives and the women enjoy their husband, that's recommended in Islam. Here, the Messenger of Allah used to stay away from his wives at these times in order to focus more, to increase himself more in his worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. في أغلب الأوقات القوي عندما يأتي إلى نسائه تضعف قوته، يحتاج إلى استراحة، يحتاج إلى النوم. فلذلك كان النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام يعتزل نساءه عليه الصلاة والسلام. Usually when the strong man, not the weak man, the strong man comes to his women, he goes to his women, he enjoys his women, the women enjoys their husband. Usually it takes some of his strength, his energy. So he's in need of relaxation, he's in need of a break, he's in need of some rest. So for this reason you find the Messenger of Allah, he will stay away from his women. ليس كأن هذا مكروه، لا. ليس كأن هذا حرام، لا. بمعنى أنه كان يركز أكثر على عبادة أخرى على عبادة أخرى. This does not mean having relations with your wives is hated. This does not mean having relations with your wives is haram during the last 10 nights of Ramadan. However, the Messenger of Allah is focusing on other aspects of worship. إذا العبد يأتي امرأته في رمضان أو في ليالي رمضان في آخر ليالي رمضان بنية التقرب إلى الله فهو معجور. If the man comes to his women with the intention of seeking closeness to Allah, not just to fulfill himself, but seeking closeness to Allah, this, for example, he gets a reward for that. The man says Bismillah, and then he mentions the dua that the Messenger of Allah used to say before coming to his wives. And then he goes to his wives. This man gets a reward. لكن في هذه الليالي توجد ما هو أعظم من هذا وهو التركيز على عبادة لله سبحانه وتعالى في القيام والدعاء وقراءة القرآن ومراجعة القرآن وحفظ القرآن وتعليم القرآن وما أشبه ذلك. But now, when the last 10 nights of Ramadan comes, the Messenger of Allah focuses more on other aspects of worship. Coming to your wife can be worship. He says Bismillah, he makes a dua, but now he's focused on other aspects of worship, like standing up at night, like reading the Quran, like learning the Quran, like reviewing the Quran, like teaching the Quran. فقراءة القرآن يا إخوان تنقسم إلى القسمين أو تنقسم إلى عدة أقسام. Reading the Quran can be divided into many categories. اكتبوا هذا, write this down يا إخوان. قراءة القرآن تنقسم. Reading the Quran has different types, different classifications of reading the Quran. القسم الأول العبد يقرأ القرآن ولا يفهم ماذا يقرأ وهذا أدنى شيء. First category, the man or woman is reading the Quran, but they don't know what they're reciting. They're reading the Quran, but they don't understand the Quran. لا يفهم اللغة العربية مثلا. They don't understand the Quran. They're reading the Quran, but they don't know the words of the Quran. They don't know the meaning of the Quran. And this is the lowest of the levels of reading the Quran. المرأة مثلا تقرأ القرآن لكن لا تفهم ماذا يريد الله تعالى منها في هذه الآية. The woman is reading the Mus'haf. She's reading the Quran. She says ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الآية سورة البقرة. The woman, she reads the verse ألف لام ميم to the end, but she doesn't understand what she's reading. هل هي معجورة? Does she get a reward?
Yes.
The answer is yes. فالقراءة عبادة ولو لا يفهم المعنى العبد. Reading the Quran is worship, even if the person does not know what they're reading. يقول تعالى ألف لام ميم. The Muslim says ألف لام ميم. كل ما يقرأ ألف لام ميم له حسنة لكل حرف حسنة كما قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. Every letter that the person reads in the Quran, they get a reward. As the Messenger of Allah, he mentions in many hadith يا إخوان. فيقول ألف لام ميم. ألف حرف، لام حرف، ميم حرف. فلقراءته للألف حسنة ولقراءته لللام حسنة ولقراءته للميم حسنة. Allahu Akbar. So the man reads Alif Lam Mim. When they read the Alif, that's a good deed. They read the Lam, that's a good deed. They read the Mim, that's a good deed. لكل حرف حسنة. Every letter you read is a good deed. فالأجر بحسب قيمة أو مقاصي الكلمة وهذا من رحمة الله تعالى علينا. So the reward comes based upon the size of the word. فلكل حرف حسنة فإذا الكلمة تكون كبيرة فالأجر أكبر إذا تكون متوسطا فالأجر متوسطة إذا تكون صغيرة فالأجر أصغر من الثاني والثالث. If the man reads a word and it's a big word, استقام يستقيم مستقيما, طيب, the reward is based upon the size of the word because every letter has a good deed. A medium-sized word has fewer letters, so the good deeds will be less. A small word has lesser letters, fewer letters, so the reward will be less. على كل, at any rate يا إخوان, إذا العبد يقرأ القرآن ولو لا يفهم المعنى فهو مأجور عند الله تعالى وهذا من رحمة الله تعالى علينا. So if the Muslim reads the Quran, even if they don't understand the Quran, they still get a reward. And this is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, والقسم الثاني, second category. What was the first category? Reading Quran without understanding. القراءة بدون فهم. القراءة بدون فهم. Reading the Quran without understanding. الثاني, second category. العبد يقرأ القرآن ويفهمه. Second category. The person reads the Quran and he understands the Quran. لكن لا يدبر معناها. But he doesn't ponder over its meanings. He reads the Quran, he understands what he's reading, but he's not pondering. He's not focusing. He's not contemplating over the meanings. وهذا أعلى من الأول. This one is better than the first. The first, reading with no understanding. The second, reading, understanding, but not pondering. Not pondering. والثالث, third category, القراءة مع الفهم والتدبر وهذا أعظم القسم. The third category, and this is the greatest category, reading the Quran and understanding the Quran and pondering over the Quran. And this is the greatest of the three. ومن قراءة القرآن كتابة من القرآن. Another benefit from reading the Quran is writing out the Quran. وهذا يثبت العبد به الحفظ. And by writing out the Quran, this is going to help your memorization. فأنت تنظر في القرآن تقرأ القرآن ثم تنسخ القرآن. هذا يثبت به العبد الحفظ. The man is reading the Quran. He's writing the Quran out as he's reading it. This is going to help it stick with you more. إذا نريد حفظ القرآن مثلا علينا بكتابة المصحف. صفحة 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 صفحة. For all of us that want to memorize the Quran and complete the Quran and be more proficient with the Quran, I recommend we go back and we start writing out the Quran page by page, ayah by ayah. هذا يساعدنا حفظا. This is going to help us tremendously in our memorization. يحتاج إلى الوقت. It takes time. إذا العبد يجلس يقرأ الصفحة كاملة ب5 دقائق مثلا. The man is reading the Quran in the corner. It's going to take him 5 minutes to read one page. 5 minutes. لكن كتابة هذه الصفحة تحتاج إلى وقت أكثر من 5 دقائق. فلمن يريد أن يكتب الصفحة يحتاج إلى صبر. يحتاج إلى صبر. But writing out the pages takes more time. To write out the pages takes more time than 5 minutes. So the one who wants to write out the Quran, he needs patience, but it's going to help his memory tremendously.
I agree, because I can't memorize without writing.
Hey, writing helps.
Because if I read it like 20 times, I can't get it.
No.
But when I need any lesson.
MashaAllah, when you write it.
When I'm writing it in 2 times, if I repeat it 2 times, I get it.
It helps you, Ikhwan. You take the Quran, وتكتبها 10 آية آية تثبت به الحفظ. تثبت به الحفظ. You write it out, it's going to help it stick with you more.
Yeah, that's
whatever the hadith والمتون والقرآن خاصة القرآن يثبت به الحفظ. This is one of the ways to help it retain more. Whatever you're memorizing, the hadith, the books of the ulama, lessons of al-fiqh, whatever you're learning, especially the Quran, وَمِنْ قِرَاءَةِ الْقُرْآنِ يَا إِخْوَانِ تَعْلِيمُ الْقُرْآنِ. Also, from reading the Quran is also teaching the Quran. أنت تكرر الآية والسامع يكررها بعدك ثم أنت تكرر الثاني وهو يكرر الثاني والثالث وصفحة هذا من قراءة. Also, from reading the Quran is you teaching the Quran to someone. You recite the verse, he recites the verse. You recite the second verse, he recites second verse. You recite the third verse, he recites the third verse. خاصة في البيت الزوج مع الزوجة الزوج مع الزوج الأب مع الولد مع الأب الأم مع البنت مع الأم كل هذا مفيد جدا. Especially in the house. These are things that we forget, myself included, ya ikhwan. We can do more with our families. We can do more with our wives, our daughters, our children in general. The husband recites with his wife. I'll say it, you say it. I'll say it, you say it. He says the verse, she says the verse. He says the verse, she says the verse. She gets that verse down, second verse. He says it, she says it. He says it, she says it. Likewise the wives. It doesn't always have to be the husband. It doesn't always have to be the husband. فَمَنْ يُعَلِّمْ الزَّوْجِ أو الزَّوْجَةِ. Who is the teacher? Who teaches? The husband or the wife? Who is the teacher?
Both.
Both. على حسب ماذا? What does it depend on?
Whoever has knowledge.
That's it. بعض النسوة يظن المعلم هو زوج. لماذا؟ لأنه بشر، لأنه رجل، لأنه ماذا ذكر. وهذا خطأ يا إخوان. Some of the women, they believe that the man is the teacher. Why, you ask them, they say because he's the man. The husband has to teach. He's the husband. And that's not from the Quran and Sunnah. وبعض الرجال كذلك يظنون أن المرأة عليها هي أن تكون المعلمة لأنها أنثى وهذا ليس بصحيح أيضا. Some of us, the men, we are the same. We think, hey, you have to teach me, sister. Why? Because you're the woman and you have to teach me. ليس هذا بصحيح يا إخوان. الأول ليس من الكتاب والسنة والثاني ليس من الكتاب ولا من السنة. The first one is not from the Quran and Sunnah, and neither is the second one from Quran and Sunnah. المعلم هو ذو علم. المعلم هو ذو علم. Who is the teacher? The teacher is the one that has the knowledge. فإذا المرأة مثلا تكون ذات علم عليها هي أن تعلم. عليها هي أن تعلم. If the woman has some knowledge, then it's upon her to teach what she knows. إذا الرجل هو ذو علم عليه هو أن يعلم العلم لأنه ذو علم. If the man has knowledge, then it's upon him to teach what he knows. طيب إذا لهما أو يشاركان في العلم من يكون معلم. If they both have knowledge, who is the teacher? The man has knowledge, the woman has knowledge. Who teaches? The man? لا بأس.
Both.
They both. It's not a condition يا إخوان. Just imagine. فأنت مع الرجال ما شاء الله تعالى عندك عمل عندك دروس عندك كذا وكذا وترجع إلى البيت. Just imagine. You have work, you're with the brothers, you have classes, whatever you're doing. You get home. وتأتي إليك امرأتك. And then your wife comes to you. تجالسك. She sits you down. وتقول بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أنا أعتقد أنك تفرح. أنا أعتقد أنك تبتسم. Your wife comes after fatiguing yourself. You at work, if you have work. You're with the brothers. You're at the masjid. You have lessons. You give da'wah. Whatever you do. Whatever occupation or job you have. You get home. You sit down. And your wife comes and says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Uktubu hadha. She says, write this down, ya akhi. عندنا dars. Now we're going to have a class. I guarantee you feel happy in your heart. I guarantee you smile. Even if you don't show her, you smile. You may try to hide it. Some of the brothers, mashallah, we try to hide our emotions. We're not good with emotions, mashallah. I guarantee you, تدخل البيت, you go home. وتأتي إليك امرأتك, and your wife comes to you. I guarantee you. وأنت متعب, and you're tired. متعب جدا. You're very tired. You go to your house, you just want to relax. خلاص. and she says, عندنا درس. Now we have a class. And she says, Bismillah walhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. And begins to teach you. I guarantee your heart is filled with joy. I guarantee you begin to smile. Even if you don't show it, you can smile with your heart. I guarantee you begin to smile and you'll be happy. You're not going to say, غدا إن شاء الله تعالى أنا متعبون اليوم في العمل فعلت كذا مع الإخوة فعلت كذا. لا. I guarantee you, أنت على السنة. If you're on the sunnah of the Messenger of Allah, even if you're tired, you're not going to say, tomorrow teaching me, honey. Tomorrow I'm tired. At work we did this and this. The brothers, mashallah ta'ala. I just got hit in the car. Somebody rammed into me, mashallah. My back is sore. No, you're going to say, تفضلي. Teach me. Whatever it is, I guarantee you, إخوان. وكذلك هذا يجمع القلوب. Also, this unites the hearts. في أغلب الأوقات عندنا مشاكل في بيوتنا. السبب الأولى أو السبب الأول لأننا لا ندرس سويا. لا ندرس سويا. Most of the time, we have issues in the house, myself included, my household included, my family included. Most of the time, when we have issues in discord and chaos in the home, usually it's because the number one reason we're not studying Islam together like we should. We're not studying Islam together like we should. إما لا ندرس شيئا البتة أو مطلقا. Either we don't study Islam at all in the house. أو المرأة تدرس شيئا والرجل يدرس شيئا آخر لكن لا يدرسان الإسلام سويا جماعة لا. Either there's no studying at all going on. Not amongst the kids, not amongst the men, not amongst the women. There's no lessons. Or the woman has her lessons and the man has his lessons, but they don't study together. أو الرجل له دروسه ولكن لا ماذا ينفع امرأته بدروسه. Or the woman doesn't study at all. The man studies, but he doesn't include his wife. أو المرأة لها دروسها لكن لا تنفع بهذا العلم زوجها. Or last scenario, the woman studies, the man doesn't study. The woman studies, but she doesn't include her husband. She doesn't share with the knowledge that she's learning with the husband. فعلينا يا إخوان أن ندرس سويا إن استطعنا إليه سبيلا أن نجمع وندرس سويا. But it's upon us to the best of our abilities, if we can, to try to study together. Try to study together. خاصة القرآن والحديث. Especially the Quran and the Hadith. إذا يمكنك أن تسمع إلى زوجتك وهي تقرأ عليك كل شيء حفظت هي. هذا عظيم. والعكس بالعكس. If you have the ability to, you listen to every surah your wife has memorized. That's tremendous. Whatever surah she's working on, أنت تسمع إليها. Then you try to listen to her. Likewise the opposite. أنت على سورة كذا وكذا. أنت تراجع سورة كذا وكذا. أنت تحفظ سورة كذا وكذا. اقرأها على زوجك. You're working on this surah. You memorize this surah. You're reviewing this surah. Whatever your position is, wherever your level is, recite it upon your wife. I guarantee you, إخوان, if we did more studying, we would drive away from our homes الشيطان more. الشيطان more. الشيطان لا يمكنه أن يبقى قريبا في البيت تقرأ في هذا البيت سورة البقرة ولا سورة آل عمران. كما قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام, الشيطان does not have the ability to stay around a house that Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al Imran is recited in it. الشيطان, or as the Prophet of Allah said, الشيطان عندما نؤذن ويؤذن مؤذن ما في أي جامع ما أو في أي مكان ما ماذا يفعل الشيطان? When the mu'adhin in the masjid or any masjid or any place calls the adhan, what does shaitan do? He runs away. يفر. He flees. لا ما عنده قوة ليصبر على سمعي إلى الأذان. لا يمكن. فلذلك يفر. Shaitan does not have the strength nor the patience to listen to the adhan being recited. He can't do it. فلذلك يفر. كما قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام, just as the Messenger of Allah mentions, عندما يؤذن الشيطان يفر أو كما قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. When the adhan is called, a shaitan leaves, he flees. ثم ماذا يفعل الشيطان عند إكمال الأذان? What does he do when the adhan is over? He flees. Now it's over. It's finished. What does he do?
You come back.
He comes back. ليفعل ماذا? What does he do? To do what?
To waswas.
Hey, to whisper. How many times after the adhan? How many times after the adhan? بعد الأذان نفكر عن كل شيء في الدنيا بعد الأذان. لماذا؟ في أغلب الأوقات لأن الشيطان يأتي ورجع والآن يوسوس لنا. How many times after the adhan? Everyone is focused on the salah at the time of the adhan. You're not on your phones usually. You're not checking your spam. You're not checking your email. You know. If you're on your phone, hold on or let me call you back. What's going on? They call in the adhan. If you ride past a masjid and you hear the adhan, sometimes you may pull over. MashaAllah, you listen to something, you stop it, you're having a conversation. 1 second. MashaAllah. Sometimes you're at work. والهاتف يرن and your phone rings بالأذان. You say لحظة لو سمحت هذا النداء إلى الصلاة. Even at work, your phone goes off. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. If you have that taqwa, you don't really stop it. If you really have that taqwa, even at work, if you can, you won't get penalized. You usually do what? Let it go. That's the call to my prayer. It's time for me to pray. So usually you stop what you're doing. Al-Muhim, the point is, usually you have some tarkeez على العبادة على الصلاة التي سنصليها. Usually you have some focus on the prayer you're about to pray. Then right after that then is over, you start thinking about, I wonder did I lock the car? Where's my key? Did I even turn? Everything you start thinking about. Everything. Usually because shaitan is back now, whispering to this one, whispering to that one, whispering. ثم يأتي بالإقامة. Then the iqamah comes. What does he do again? He flees again. وبعد الإقامة ماذا يصنع? He comes back again. ليفعل ماذا? To do what? To whisper. Shaitan, sometimes يا إخوان ننسى أن الشيطان ذكي. Shaitan ذكي. Sometimes we forget يا إخوان. Shaitan is intelligent. He's smart يا إخوان. He leaves from the things that he's not strong enough to be around. We can benefit from that. ليس بالنسبة إلى الأذان والإقامة. لا. لكن عموما, not talking about leaving when the adhan is called and when the iqamah is called. No. But generally, what can we benefit here? إذا لا يمكننا أن نصبر على الشيء أن نبقى حول الشيء أو لنا أن نتركه. If we don't have the ability to be patient around something, if we don't have the strength to take it, then sometimes we should stay away from it. مثلا نمشي إلى مكان ما أي مكان لا يمكننا أن نصبر فيه الأولى لنا أن نتركه. هذا أولى. You go to any specific place, but it's a lot of facade, a lot of music, a lot of evil, a lot of this and that. If you can't be patient and the likes of that environment, it's better that you flee. It's better that you come back another time. You go to the store and there's all women there. You say, نرجع في مكان في وقت آخر. هذا أولى. You see all the women there. You don't have time. You don't have the patience. It's all of those girls. Like, I'll come back another time. Maybe I have some brothers with me. I'll have some companions with me. Maybe it'll be some brothers there. You go to somewhere, it's all music. Everyone is so loud. Like, you can't be patient there. You come back another time. So you can benefit from the likes of that. Shaitan is intelligent, ya akhwan. He gets us a lot of times when we nansa Allah, when we forget about Allah. الشيطان عندما يأتي إلى الشخص إذا هذا الشخص يكون قويا ويحاول أن يسقطه من عمل آخر أقل من الأول وهذا من ذكاء. Sometimes shaitan comes to someone that's strong and he can't get him to disobey Allah because he's strong in his iman. But what does he do? He gets you to leave that action you were doing to do something less. He's still going to try to get you some way. He can't get you to disobey Allah. Okay, I'm going to get him to leave off the sunnah and do something allowed. So the man أراد أن يفعل سنة النبي ثم يأتي الشيطان ويوسوس له ثم يأتي إلى الجائز وهذا من ذكاء الشيطان. Sometimes shaitan tries to get the man to leave off the sunnah or disobey Allah. He can't do that. Okay, I'm going to get him to leave off the sunnah. And now the man does something that's allowed. The man wants to get married. He has many Muslim women there. Shaitan comes. No. Don't marry those Muslim women. Marry this non-Muslim woman. The man wants to get married. طيب. He's looking at the Muslim women. That's better. Shaitan says, لا. يوسوس له شيء. He whispers to him. هذا أجمل من الثاني. Shaitan comes. No. This one has religion. Yes. But this one is pretty. Look how pretty she is. This one, she's going to cover all the time. This one, she's not going to cover, but that's beautiful. You're in America. He may try to whisper some more. Give him some fake American dawah. That happens a lot, yeah. One brother said, a sheikh said, قال لي الشيخ أولى لنا أن لا نترك أو أن لا نلبس كما لبس النبي عليه السلام ولكن نلبس كما يلبس الأمريكيون لأننا في أمريكا ونعوذ بالله. The man said, a scholar told me, in America we shouldn't dress like the Prophet of Allah. We should dress like the American. Why? Because we're in America. We should assimilate and be like the Muslim, be like the non-Muslim. You say, من أتى بهذا؟ قال هذا الشيخ. طيب من أتى هو من الكتاب والسنة. You say, where did you get this from? He said, Sheikh such and such said that. I say, where did he get it? الإسلام لا يتوقف عند العلماء. نحب العلماء. لا يتوقف عند طلبة العلم. نحب طلبة العلم. لا يتوقف عند الأئمة. نحب الأئمة. لكن يتوقف بقال الله قال رسول الله وما فهم الصحابة. Islam, ya ikhwan, remember this point. Islam doesn't stop at this sheikh said. Islam doesn't stop at this student of knowledge said. Islam doesn't stop at my imam said. No. Islam stops at Allah said, the Prophet said, and the companions understood. No. Shaitan, ya ikhwan, ahyanan dhakiyun. Sometimes you find that shaitan is extremely intelligent. قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هذا هو الأفضل لمن تيسر له ذلك. So he continues. He says, this is the best for those that is easy for them to do so. What is he talking about? To do what? Going back to the hadith. 3 things Aisha mentioned. When the last nights of Ramadan come, last 10 nights.
Late.
Staying up at night.
Waking up
his family.
And then
Hey, tying his izar. تعلمنا معنيان لهذا التعبير. We learned 2 meanings of this expression. Tightening up his izar.
يجتهد في هذه 10 أخير.
He used to be more diligent in these nights than he was in the earlier nights. Second meaning? Stay away from having relations.
يقرب النساء.
And لا يتقرب إلى نسائه. That he did not stay away from his wives. طيب إذا العبد متزوج وبعده عن نسائه يضرها هل أولى له أن يأتيها أو يتركها? If the man has a wife, sometimes the women, they have their desires are stronger most times. طيب. So the man has a wife, and if he leaves her, meaning doesn't have relations with her, it harms her. Her desires are so strong that if he doesn't have relations with her for these 10 days, that will harm her. Is it better to still stay away from her, or to just not harm her and come close to her? Who can answer? Better
to give her a right.
It's better. Some women are like some men. ما عندهم صبر. They don't have patience. Like some brothers don't have patience. هو في صيامه لا يفكر عن ماذا الشرب ولا على الأكل. يفكر على في شيء واحد وليس طعاما ولا شرابا. يفكر عن أين زوجتي. هذا كثير من الرجال. Most of us as men in Ramadan, we're fasting. We're not really worrying about food. We're not really worrying about drink. Every 5 minutes, man, how much time, ya akhi? Oh, mashallah. Hey, how much time is left? Hey, what time is it? Hey, what time is it? Ya akhi, your clock works. Type. He's not worrying about food. He's not worrying about drink. He's worrying about, hey, where's the wife? And that's a lot of the men. وَبَعْضُ النِّسْوَةِ هَكَذا. And some women are the same. لهن قوة بشرية. Some of them have a strong desire. لا تفكر المرأة مثلا عن شراب ولا طعام، لا تفكر في أغلب الأوقات عن أين الأخ، متى ينتهي من عمله ومتى ينتهي من دروسه أو كذا وكذا. فهي تريد هذا وذاك. Some of the women are just like the men. She's fasting, but she's not worrying about her food and drink. Every 5 minutes, hey sister, what time is it? Oh, it's only dhuhr. Hey, what time is it? Asr. Yes, salam. How much time we got left? Half hour. Oh, yeah, astaghfirullah. طيب. She's not worrying about food and drink. She's, where's the husband? Where's the man? Where's this? Where's that? If the man is going to harm her, she has a strong desire, then he should come to her also, and then he can go back to his worship, inshallah ta'ala. Wallahu alam. And Allah knows best. Our sister, she says, covering her desires is best, and Allah ta'ala knows best. Naam, may Allah bless you. We agree. وقد يختلف شخصا أو لشخص من شخص. Also, it can differ from person to person. It can differ from person to person. If the man, وهذا صعب يا إخوان على كثير منا، أن يأتي المرأة ثم أن يعبد الله تعالى بعد ذلك، هذا صعب. فعلى حسب كل شخص. Also for the men, we have to say, it is hard sometimes to come to your wife and then later on do some worship. Usually you need some relaxation, some istiraha, some noom, some sleep, some rest, some ta'am, some sharab. So if he can't come to the wife and then do some worship, ماذا يفعل? What does he do? He doesn't have the strength to go to his wife and then get up and worship Allah. So what should he do?
He should not disclose this to his wife.
Oh, if he doesn't go to her, it harms her. What does he do? إذا يتركها يضرها. If he doesn't come to her, it harms her. لكن ما عنده قوة لأن يأتي إليها ثم أن يقوم وأن يعبد الله تعالى بعد ذلك. فماذا يصنع? The man does not have the strength. The man does not have the strength. مثلا, he does not have the strength to go to his wife and then get back up and then worship Allah. He doesn't have the strength to do so, most men. So what does he do? And if he leaves her, she's harmed because she has a strong desire. What does he do?
Okay, it's just one night and
Ask his wife to remind him to wake up.
So ask the wife to remind me, hey, maybe use his devices. Or he can worship Allah first and then go to the wife later on, so that way he can kill two birds with one stone. Also, some say this is why the Messenger of Allah used to make i'tikaf in the masjid. Sometimes it's better that you leave the house. And some women get offended there. لكن الحق الأولى, but the truth has more right to be followed. The truth is better. إذا لا عبد مثلا هو لا يدرس كثيرا في البيت، لا يدرس كثيرا في البيت. عندما يكون في البيت ينام كثيرا ويأكل كثيرا ويشرب كثيرا ويضيع وقته كثيرا. الأولى له أحيانا أن يترك البيت وأن يدرس في المسجد. أن ماذا؟ أن لا ينام كثيرا لأنه الآن في المسجد. هذا الأولى، وهذا من الحكمة أيضا. If the man, for example, he sleeps a lot in the house, he doesn't study a lot. Most of us don't study a lot in our homes. Too many distractions. The women, the children, your bed, most of us a TV, PlayStation, mashallah. There's a lot of distractions in our homes. So sometimes it's better that we leave the house for a moment. Come to the masjid. In the masjid, you don't really find a lot of people wasting time. You may find a few conversations that are not, good conversations, but they don't last for hours and hours and hours and hours. No. A nice conversation here, then let's get back to some worship. Nice conversation there, then let's get back to something beneficial. So the man is in his house, he sleeps a lot. His wife is there, the children are there, he's tired. So sometimes he may say, I'm going to the library. I'm going to the masjid. I'm going to the park. I'm going, and find a place that's suitable for him that he can focus. Likewise the woman. وهذا مهم, and this is also important يا إخوان. علينا نحن أن نساعد نساءنا في أمور البيت إن استطعنا إليه سبيلا عاما وخاصا. So we'll say this generally and specific. it's upon us, the men, to help our women with the issues of the house also. هذا من سنة النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. That's the sunnah of the Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام also. Generally, she's our sister. Generally, she's the mother of our children. Specifically, she's a student of knowledge. Sometimes we forget, يا إخوان, أحيانا ننسى أن طلبة العلم كذلك هي تحتاج إلى الوقت وتحتاج إلى الحفظ وتحتاج إلى المراجعة وكل ذلك يحتاج إلى الوقت. فإذا يمكننا أن تساعدها في أمور البيت علينا بذلك. Sometimes the women who are trying to learn their religion, you're married to a woman who likes to study and memorize, and she wants to become proficient in Islam. She needs time to memorize. She needs time to review. She needs time to prepare. So if you can, you help her. You say, hey, mashallah, you're memorizing Quran. I got the children today. 2 hours you need, mashallah, la bats. I'm going to do the kitchen. I'm going to do the mopping. I know it's not going to be like you do it, but you focus on your studies. You do your homework. You do your muraja'ah. I'll do the dishes. If you can, I'll cook tonight. I'm not the best cook, يا إخوان. فأنا لا أطبخ كثيرا. أنا أسوي ماذا؟ أسوي peanut butter and jelly. وأسوي cereal. وأقدم لها French toast أحيانا. وتونة sandwich. الحمد لله. Nobody can make a sandwich better than me. I might not can't cook that good. لا أطبخ دجاجة ولا سمكا جيدا ولا رزا جيدا ولا هذا البور من الصوماليين، لكن أنا أقدم peanut butter and jelly. ما شاء الله أنا أعلم من الله تعالى كم أن أضع peanut butter على الملعقة وكيف أفعل يمينا ويسارا مع هذه الملعقة. الحمد لله أنا شيخ في تطبيق peanut butter and jelly. طيب, nobody can make peanut butter and jelly better than me. Nobody. Inshallah. I can't cook chicken that good. Can't make chicken. I can't make fish that good. But it's something from Allah. I just know how to put the spoon in there and get the nice amount of the peanut butter out and then spread it with the back of the spoon, mashallah. It's going to be so even. I'm like the sheikh in making peanut butter and jelly. Inshallah. That's my specialty. Making peanut butter and jelly. At any rate, whatever you can do, ya ikhwan. Some brothers can't cook that good. Maybe he can vacuum. Maybe he can sweep up. Sometimes just watch the baby for me for a little while. Feed the baby. Alhamdulillah. Sometimes the woman may ask you, hey, take the kids and go for a walk. I just need an hour. I'm trying to review my Quran. I'm trying to memorize my hadith. So if you're married to a woman like that, you try your best to also help. Inshallah. It's from Islam to help one another. It's from Islam to help one another. May Allah bless you. Our brother, he says, unfortunately, they want you to pay. It depends on what do you mean they want you to pay. It's from Islam, if you have the means, that you pay. If you don't have the means, you try your best to increase your means. Some women do focus on marriage regarding the money, just like some men focus on marriage regarding beauty. It's like we focus نركز على الجمال وهن يركزن على المال. Or we can make that like poetry. Inshallah ta'ala. الرجال يركزون على الجمال والنساء يركزن على المال. The men, we focus on beauty. It doesn't sound that rhythmic in English. The men focus on beauty, and most of the women focus on the money. May Allah help us all, ya ikhwan. طيب. قال الإمام رحمه الله. So the Imam continues, may Allah have mercy upon him. قال وإن نام عن بعض الشيء ليتقوى فلا بأس. He says, but if the man gets tired, he's trying to stay up at night, but then he goes to sleep in order to give himself more energy, then there's no problem with that. أما من قواه الله تعالى على إحيائها فلذلك سنة وقربة. But as for the one that Allah has given him the strength that he can stay up at night, then this is a sunnah, and this will bring him close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. بشرط واحد, with one condition. What is it? How can staying up at night bring you closer to Allah? What's the condition?
Intention.
Is that?
Intention.
His intention. His niyyah. بعض الناس لا ينامون لكن يتفرغون لشهادة التلفاز أو ليشهد التلفاز. فهذا ليس إحياء السنة في 10 الأواخر. لا. Some people say, I'm going to stay up all night. It's the last 10 nights of Ramadan, and he's watching TV all night. I'm staying up. Hey, it's the last 10 nights. I'm staying up. It's a sunnah to stay up. It's not any staying up. It's a staying up that's beneficial. The man is just staying up just to stay up. لا يفعل شيئا لا من العبادة لا هذا شيء آخر. The man is staying up but no worship. No worship. والأولى أن يجمع إذا يمكن. الأولى أن يجمع. If you have the ability to combine your worship, that's better. إذا يمكنك مثلا أن تعلم شخص وأن تصلي وأن تراجع وأن تقرأ وأن تستفيد غيرك فهذا كثير جدا وهذا خير جدا. If the man can do multiple things at night, say he has a class and then he prays and then he reads some Quran and then he teaches someone else and then if he can combine aspects of worship, this is tremendous. Not just one thing. Some people think, I'm just going to pray all night. That's tremendous. But if you can do both, pray some and then read some. Pray some, go over a few hadith. Pray some, remind someone of something. Pray some, teach your family, for example, your children. To combine, this is tremendous also. Wallahu alam. And may Allah bless you. Anyone else? May Allah bless you all. قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يعني في الصلاة. He says meaning that you stay up in the prayer والقراءة and in reading والدعاء and making supplication والاستغفار seeking forgiveness. فإذا يمكن العبد أن يجمع بين كل هذه فهذا خير كثيرا. If the man can do all of these, the woman can do all of these, that's tremendous. هو يجلس مثلا ويستغفر الله تعالى نصف ساعة مستقبلا قبلته في الوضوء هذا خير كثير. من منا يفعل مثل هذا يا إخوان? Imagine for a half hour. Maybe we need to do some of those classes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The man sits there, faces the Qibla in wudu, and just asks Allah for forgiveness. That's it. Not going to sleep, no PlayStation, no Facebook, no Instagram, no TikTok, no hip hop, no. Just forgiveness. Istighfar. Who from amongst us does that, ya ikhwan? Just takes time. What are you doing, ya akhi? Asking Allah for forgiveness. I'll call you back. Boop. MashaAllah. A few minutes. 10 minutes a day. Astaghfirullah. 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 A true astaghfirullah. Not how we do it most of the time after the salah. Subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. That's not a dhikr, ya ikhwan. That's most of us. The salah is over. Most of the sisters, subhanallah, 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 la ilaha illallah, astaghfirullah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu akbar, Allahu akbar. That's not really a dhikr. Where is the ماذا التركيز في القلب? Where is the focus in your heart? For most of the brothers, he's on Facebook. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. La ilaha illallah. No, you're not focusing, ya akhi. That's most of us, for example. No, you take a moment. It's not a rush. You can't do 33, you do 10. No problem. But you have the tarkeez, you have the khushu', you have the humility and the concentration of Allah. So you say astaghfirullah. And you ponder over what you're saying. You're asking Allah for forgiveness. You're not going to do so watching a game. Oh, astaghfirullah, mashallah, astaghfirullah. No, you're not. Your heart is not there. So you remove everything for a moment. And you concentrate on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the best. Or you take a moment, you just make dua. You pray some, you face the Qibla and just make dua. Just make dua. These are things that will bring the person closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال وأوتار أولى بالإحياء من غيرها من العشر. The Messenger of Allah will stay up more so in the last 10 nights than he did in any other nights. هي متأكدة. This is the sunnah that many people have forgotten about. A stipulated, concentrated sunnah, an established sunnah that the Prophet used to almost do all the time in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. لأنها أرجاء بليلة القدر. Because the Messenger of Allah is striving after the reward of Laylatul Qadr. والنبي عليه الصلاة والسلام قال التمسوها بكل وتر. And the Messenger of Allah said, seek after it in each of the odd nights. وفي رواية, in some of the narrations, التمسوها في العشر الأواخر. In some of the narrations, seek after it in the last 10 nights of Laylatul Qadr, of the last 10 nights of Ramadan. بعض الناس يركزون على ليلة واحدة وبعضهم على ليلة ثانية أو كذا وكذا. الأولى أن يلتمسها العبد في كل بقية من عشر الأواخر. Most of the people, or some of the people of today, they focus on one night. I'm going to pray Laylatul Qadr the 23rd. Some people know Laylatul Qadr inshallah is the 25th. So he prays all night the 25th, or as much as he can the 25th. Some people the 27th, 29th, no problem. What's better than all of that is that the last nights of Ramadan, the last 10 nights of Ramadan, you search for them in each of the last nights. Pray as much as you can, read as much as you can, make dua as much as you can. For example, كما قلنا قبل, as we mentioned before, إذا العبد يصلي العشاء في الجماعة والفجر في الجماعة فكأنه صلى الليلة كاملة. If the man prays the Isha in congregation and then the Fajr in congregation, is as if he prayed the whole night. ولو كان نائما, even if he was asleep. فما بال إذا يصلي ترويح ويصلي تهجد ويقرأ شيئا من القرآن والحديث مثلا ويدعو ويستغفر الله سبحانه وتعالى, له خير كثير, خير كثير. How much more so if he prays the Isha in congregation, prays the Fajr in congregation, and then he gets up, prays Tarawih with the brothers and sisters, then he prays a little bit later on in the night time, and then he does some reading, or he does some dua, he makes some dhikr. This one is upon a lot of good, ya ikhwan. طيب قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم باب بيان أحكام الاعتكاف. Chapter, the clarification of the rulings of i'tikaf. قال يسأل عن أو يسأل عن الاعتكاف وعن وقته وعن كيفيته. So the question is asking about i'tikaf, the time of it, how it is offered. قال الشيخ Abdul Ibn Baaz رحمه الله الاعتكاف سنة. He says secluding oneself in the house of Allah is a sunnah of the Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام. وهو لزوم المسجد لطاعة الله عز وجل للتفرغ للعبادة. He says, and that is that the person adheres to the mosque, to the masjid, for the pleasure or for the purpose of obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by making himself free or herself free from worship, for worship. في الليالي, in the nighttime, أو النهار, in the daytime. ماذا نستفيد هنا? What do we get here يا إخوان? الاعتكاف ليس فقط منحصرا في الليل. ليس منحصرا في الليل. I'tikaf is not specific for the night time. إذا لا عبد لا يمكنه أن يعتكف إلا في النهار. ربما له عمل مثلا يمكنه أن يعتكف في النهار لبعض ساعات لا بأس. The man makes i'tikaf but he works at night. So in the daytime when he gets off work, he secludes himself in the house of Allah to focus on his worship, to focus on reading the Quran, to focus on his salah, to focus on coming closer to Allah in the daylight hours. Then this is tremendous. This is highly recommended. إذا لا عبد لا يمكنه أن يبقى أو أن يعتكف كل العشر الأواخر من آخر رمضان ويعتكف في بعضها لا بأس. له أجر إن شاء الله تعالى. له أجر إن شاء الله تعالى. The man can make i'tikaf the whole last 10 nights, but he can do some nights. Then this one is rewarded. ولو يوما واحدا أو ليلة واحدة بنية بالتقرب إلى الله فهو مأجور. If the man can only do one day or one night, man or woman, just one day, one night, then they're rewarded inshallah ta'ala. The sunnah is that you stay the whole 10 nights. But if you can do 5 or 2 or 3 or 1, no problem. You get a reward inshallah if your intention is seeking the closeness of Allah. قال أو نهاري ساعة أو يوما أو ليلة أو أياما أو لياليا. He says, so he secludes himself in the nighttime or the daytime or even an hour. All you can do is an hour. That's all you can do. He works, mashallah. He has his family, mashallah. He has this and this and this. He can give himself an hour, just 1 hour, where he secludes himself for Allah, turns off his devices, he stays away from the people, just me and Allah for this 1 hour. And he's rewarded, inshallah ta'ala, to the best of his intention. He says, rahimahullah ta'ala, or a single day, or a single night, or some days, or some nights, sunnatun, kama qala Allah azza wa jal, as Allah ta'ala he says, as it comes in the ayah, وَلَا تُبَشِّرُهُنَّ وَأَنْتُمْ عَاكِفُونَ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ. And do not come to your women while you are secluding yourselves in the masjid. Surah Al-Baqarah. وقد ثبت عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم أنه اعتكف العشر الأواخر من رمضان. And it has been established that the Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام, he used to make i'tikaf in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. وفي بعض السنوات تركها لبعض الأسباب. In some years, the Prophet didn't do it every year. Sometimes he left it off for various reasons. اعتكف العشر الأولى من شوال. He also made i'tikaf the first 10 nights of Shawwal. فهو سنة في رمضان أفضل وفي العشر الأخيرة منه أفضل. So it's preferred to do it in Ramadan, but it's better in Ramadan to do it the last 10 nights of Ramadan. You can make i'tikaf the first 10 nights. You can make i'tikaf the middle 10 nights. You can make i'tikaf the last 10 nights. You can make i'tikaf the whole month if you wish. The brother says, the sister says, I'm going to na'takifu inshallah ta'ala شهر رمضان كاملا ليتقرب إلى الله. هذا جميل يا أخوان. The brother says, the sister says, I'm going to stay away from everything. I'm going to get away from everyone for 1 month. I'm going to focus on my Lord. For 1 month, just imagine that person's worship. Every salah, mashallah. We can barely pray one salah, except Jumu'ah. Every salah, قبل كل أذان هو موجود. الله أكبر. ليسمع إلى الأذان وليفطر وليصلي ركعتين لكل صلاة ويدعو بين كل أذان وكل إقامة لكل يوم في رمضان. الله أكبر. Just imagine, the man makes i'tikaf the whole month. The woman makes i'tikaf the whole month. He's there for every salah for 30 days. He's there, but when they call the adhan, he's there. When adhan is over, he's there to make dua. Then he's there to pray 2 raka'ah. And he does this every day, for every salah, for every adhan. And he does so for Allah. May Allah make us like this brother, like this sister, that can take 30 days off and give it to Allah. We get 30 days, we say, hey, I'm going to Jamaica. نرتحل إلى جامايكا نمشي إلى ترينيداد نمشي إلى بهامس نمشي إلى من يقول نمشي إلى اعتكاف نمشي إلى العبادة نمشي إلى الحج نمشي إلى العمرة نركز على الله. Most of us, we get vacation time. We say, hey, I'm about to go to Jamaica. Vacation. Let's go to Trinidad. Let's go to the islands. Let's go. That's allowed. We're not saying that's haram, depending on what's there and the nakedness and the likes. If the people, generally, it's allowed to take a vacation. طيب. Who's going to say, hey, this vacation, I'm going to focus on Ramadan. I'tikaf time, seclusion, me and Allah, Hajj, Umrah. We get our stimulus. First thing we think about, trips. طيب. What about Hajj? What about Umrah? What about i'tikaf? Who's going to spend some time for the sake of Allah? Most of us, that's the last thing we're thinking about, ya ikhwan. And may Allah help us all. قال وإن اعتكف في غير رمضان. And the person can also make i'tikaf in outside of Ramadan. كشوال. Likewise in Shawwal. أو ذي القعدة أو ذي الحجة أو المحرم. he makes i'tikaf in any of the months, ya ikhwan, that's allowed. Like Shawwal, like Dhul Qa'dah, like Dhul Hijjah, like Muharram, all of that's allowed. أو غير ذلك فلا بأس. Or other than that, and that's okay. سنة مطلقة, it's a sunnah, absolutely. في جميع زمان, and it's a sunnah at all times. لكن في المساجد خاصة التي تقام فيها الجمعة, وهذا مهم. He says, however, it should be done in the houses of Allah that the Jumu'ah takes place in. فإذا العبد يعتكف وهو يعتكف في مسجد ما لا تقام فيها أو فيه الجمعة, الأولى له أن يعتكف في المسجد تقام فيه الجمعة. هذا الأولى وأفضل والله أعلم. The man is making i'tikaf, but he's in the masjid that they don't offer the Jumu'ah. It's still allowed, but it's better, so he won't have to leave, that he goes to a masjid that they're offering the Jumu'ah. The i'tikaf is so he can focus. If he has to pray here and then travel up the road and then do Jumu'ah and then come back and then Jumu'ah, no, it's better that everything he needs is there in one place. So now he can do Jumu'ah. He doesn't have to leave to go to Jumu'ah. He can do Jumu'ah at that masjid. This is better. وإذا كان يمر عليه الجمعة, and if the Jumu'ah passes him by, when كانت المدة أكثر من أسبوع, and if he stays for more than a week, فالأفضل أن تكون في مسجد فيه جمعة, then it's better, as we mentioned, that he makes the i'tikaf in a place that the Jumu'ah is established. الأفضل أن يكون اعتكافه في مسجد فيه جمعة, as he says it again, it's better for him to perform the i'tikaf in a masjid that the Jumu'ah is held or conducted. حتى لا يحتاج إلى الخروج إليها, so therefore he doesn't have to leave. He can't say, oh, I don't have to make Jumu'ah, I'm making i'tikaf. Not like that. He still has to make Jumu'ah. فإن اعتكف في مسجد آخر ليس فيه جمعة فلا بأس. But if he makes i'tikaf in a masjid that does not have the Jumu'ah, then this is okay. إذا جاءت الجمعة يخرج إليها, and then if Jumu'ah comes, he goes to the Jumu'ah. فالمؤمن المعتكف يقصد بعبادته وجه الله سبحانه وتعالى. And then the believer who's making i'tikaf, he makes his intention for the face of Allah in his worship. وتفرغ للعبادة والأنس بالله سبحانه وتعالى. So he should take time and focus on the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ولهذا قال بعضهم عن اعتكاف. So for this reason some people say about i'tikaf إنه قطع العلائق عن كل خلائق, that this one he's cutting off some of the relationships between all of the creation. لاتصال بخدمة الخالق, by being in connection with the service of the Creator. والخلاصة أنه تفرغ للعبادة للذكر والدعاء والعبادة في المسجد. He says so in summarization, the man or woman takes the time for the worship of Allah Ta'ala, making the dhikr and the dua and the worship in the masjid. ولا بأس أن يزوره أهله أو أن يزوره أهله, and it's okay for his family to visit him. فأحيانا العبد يعتكف وزوجته تريد أن تراه, فلا بأس إذا هي تأتي إلى المسجد ويتكلم معها وهي تتكلم معه, كل هذا لا بأس به. Sometimes you're making i'tikaf and your women, they miss you. That's natural. Oh, he's making i'tikaf, I don't want to come between his worship, but I miss him. If I could just see his little face, alhamdulillah. So she comes to check on him, to talk with him. That's no problem. Yeah. Aisha used to come to the Messenger ﷺ, and some narrations comb his beard, put oils in his beard. Alhamdulillah. Some women, yeah, you'll be amazed. I don't like combing my beard, but some of the women, they like doing those things for the man. Alhamdulillah. She likes, hey, before you go to the masjid, let me put your oil on you. Alhamdulillah. Sometimes women say, hey, let me dress you today. Alhamdulillah. As long as it's not overboard. I don't really, not the most dressed brother, ikhwan, that's really not my thing. You know, I like a nice imama or legs, maybe a nice little sandal. I like jackets. طيب. But some of the women, they're girly, they're more princessy, if I can say that. She says, that izar doesn't match that scarf. I say, mashallah. You should wear this one today. He says, okay. This one day. Alhamdulillah. To me, it's not really a big deal, ya ikhwan. I don't think matching is not that big of a deal. If you match, you match. You don't, you don't. No problem. But the women, they tend to take that more serious. That red doesn't match that red. Even like, alhamdulillah. If you can, it doesn't harm you, then you let her dress you one day. Alhamdulillah. You may have a favorite jilbab that you want her to wear one day. No problem. You say, hey honey, البسي البني اليوم لو سمحتي عجبني البني لا بأس. You say, hey sweetheart, whatever you call her, baby doll, big head, whatever your nickname is. طيب. I want you to wear the brown one today. I like the brown. And she should say, inshallah, no problem. As long as it doesn't harm. Sometimes we want our women to worship Allah the way we want them to worship Allah. وهذا خطأ. And that's a mistake. وكذلك بعض النسوة يا أخوان يريدنا أن نعبد الله تعالى كما هن يريدنا أن نعبده. وهذا خطأ يا أخوان. Sometimes the women, they want us to worship Allah the way they want us to worship Allah. And that's incorrect also يا أخوان. فعلينا بالصبر وعلينا باللين والرفقة في الأمر كله. كما قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. It's upon us to be kind and gentle and easy with one another. As the Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام mentions يا إخوان. In many ahadith. So it's upon us to remember that we are brothers and sisters. وَالنِّسَاء لَيْسَ مِنْ عَمَتِنَا أَبَدًا. And the women are not our servants يا إخوان. بعض الرجال يظنون يمكننا أن نعامل معهن كأنهن من أمتنا. وهذا ليس بصحيح. ليس بصحيح. Many of the men you find their questions, well, can't I just tell her to do whatever I want her to do? Ain't I'm in charge of her? You know, like, it's not like that, ya ikhwan. She's not your servant. You have a degree of responsibility over her. إذا المرأة تخرج من بيتك ومن بيتكما بدون إذنك فهي آثمة. إذا ما عندها حاجة تخرج إليها فهي آثمة حتى ترجع. If the woman leaves the house, it's your house, and she leaves the house, or it's your house rather. That's the origin. Nowadays it's the opposite. The women are the ones that Allah has blessed with the property and the likes. It's her house, it's your house, or it's your house. And then she leaves without your permission. Then she's sinful until she returns. She's sinful until she returns. إذا المرأة مثلا تريد أن تأتي إلى ترويح ومنزلة الترويح معروفة عند جميعنا لكن الزوج لا يأذن لها الأولى لها أن تطيعه وأن تصلي في البيت أن تصلي في البيت. If the woman wants to go to her local masjid and pray tarawih and the husband doesn't feel comfortable for whatever reason, he doesn't give her permission to do so, what has more right, tarawih or her obeying her husband? Obeying her husband. Tarawih ya ikhwan mustahab. Assalamu alaikum. Tarawih mustahab. وطاعة الزوج للزوجة ما حكمه؟ واجب. Obeying the husband is obligatory. So no one that has understanding of Islam is going to say, I'm going to go to Tarawih. Yes, it is. It's recommended. Obeying your husband gives you a more greater reward. If your husband says no, and you stay in the house, that's worship. You get a reward. وأحيانا يمكنك أن تصلي في البيت لا بأس. And also you can pray in the house sometimes. وهذا أولى للمرأة. And that's better for the woman يا إخوان. أن تصلي في ماذا؟ في غرفة نومها. That she prays in her bedroom. هذا أولى. لكن لا بأس إذا هي تريد أن تمشي إلى ترويح أو إلى أي مسجد ما لا بأس. But if she wants to come to tarawih or any prayer, no problem. لكن بإذن الزوج or the permission of the husband يا إخوان. والله أعلم. فنكتفي بهذا واستعب يا إخوان. وسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Our sister says, you are funny, brother. We try our best to make everybody have some humor. May Allah bless you. Our sister says, how can we send you stars? I don't know how the Facebook thing works, but we'll try to see, inshallah. May Allah bless you. Taib, our sister says, are you okay? We heard you were in an accident. Alhamdulillah, I was in a little fender bender last night. We parked at the car, and I didn't get out the car yet, and this lady rammed into me. MashaAllah ta'ala. So my back is a little tight. You just guys make dua for me, inshallah. I believe I'm okay, just a little tight, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah bless you all. Shukran. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.